It's going to be 6 videos in 90 days, minimum 10 minutes long. I want to see myself become creative. I think what I'm gonna do, hold on. I love when I get ideas. There is a book. I'm just gonna show you. It's The Artist Way. It's a 12-week program, and it's a course in discovering and recovering your creative self. And just now I thought, what if I align the book with making vlogs, and I kind of update you and kind of work my way through the book.
Hey, so it's April 19th and it's been a few months. Yeah, I didn't start reading The Artist's Way. I also failed at the YouTube challenge, quite dramatically actually. I only uploaded 1 video in the 90 days that I was supposed to upload 6. But here we are, trying again, things that I love to do, and I've actually made some changes. So I've been uploading 1 video every week in the month of April so far, and I am absolutely loving it. And as usual, the call came back to me to finish, or actually to start, this book. So that's what we're gonna do this time. I started reading it and I feel like it's the right time. So of course, like most people, I watched a few videos on the book on YouTube, and a lot of the people talk about the kind of spirituality aspect. Some people liked it, some people don't, but I'm one of the people who likes it. I definitely have come to terms with the idea that creativity is a spiritual practice, and I've heard a lot of artists say that it's very spiritual to be creative. And as I'm kind of stepping into my creative being, I definitely feel the same. And the author actually has some basic principles in the book, and one of them really stuck out to me. And it's that our creative dreams and yearning come from a divine source. As we move towards our dream, we move toward our divinity. And for me, it's just spot on, because I feel like as I've been on this really short YouTube journey, I have become more spiritual. I have become more open to the possibilities and more excited about what else is out there. And so it's making me even more excited to really start this book. I have wanted to be a YouTuber for as long as I can remember, and it has never been associated to success, to money, to popularity. It's literally never been that. I just think it's the coolest thing ever to film a video, edit it, and make it look really cool. I've always wanted to do that. But I've essentially convinced myself that I'm not creative, I'm not a creative person, I've never been a creative this, I'm just type A, and why would I ever do that? And essentially that has caused me to talk myself out of following a dream. And from what I know about the book so far, I think that's exactly what she talks about. So I'm really looking forward to starting. As I look at the table of contents, there are a couple of chapters that stick out to me that I'm really looking forward to starting. Week 2 is recovering a sense of identity, and as somebody who has always identified as a not creative person, trying to become a creative person, I feel like that one's gonna hit. There's also week 5, recovering a sense of possibility. Again, like I said, as I'm getting into my creative bag, the universe is opening up to me, and I wonder if she's gonna talk about that. And then the last one is week 11, recovering a sense of autonomy. And as somebody who decided to leave her full-time job and become an entrepreneur, autonomy was probably the #1 reason I did that. So I'm really looking forward to hear what she has to say about that as well. Going into this, I'm very excited. I'm also very nervous, mostly because I'm wondering if I'm actually gonna be able to keep up with it. But the fact that I'm making these videos is probably gonna keep me accountable. And I also wrote out 3 goals. My first goal is to stick with uploading these videos once a week. I said that I would in the beginning of the year, I didn't. And I said that I would in the beginning of April, and suddenly I'm sticking to it. So hopefully I'll be able to maintain that and keep posting videos for the rest of the year, and hopefully just into the future. Who knows how long this will last. My second goal is to align my identity to being a creative person. Like I said earlier, I have always struggled with identifying as being creative, and if this book can help me do that, then I will have accomplished my main goal. And my last and final goal is to take the pressure off of myself for making good content. My content doesn't have to be good, my content doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be made. So those are my 3 goals. I am very excited to start this 12-week journey and finally get into the artist's way. Okay, so I've read a little bit, and so far it's actually quite interesting. There are two tools that the author talks about that you're going to be using throughout the book. The first are artist pages, and to me that's very familiar. Essentially, it's just journaling, 3 pages as soon as you wake up, like stream of consciousness journaling. And as somebody who's been journaling for years now, I already relate. I already know that journaling is life-changing and super helpful. So I probably won't be doing it as soon as I wake up. I'll try, but that's just not when I do my journaling. So we'll see. The next thing is artist dates. So essentially she wants you to take yourself out for 2 hours a week to connect with your inner artist. So that's either like going to a museum, going to a fun shop, maybe doing some painting, which is what I think I'm gonna be doing, going out for a walk, whatever it is that is just you alone time to receive creative energy and to receive insight and inspiration. She talks about the morning pages like they are an output. So they're essentially telling the universe what your hopes are, your dreams are, your disappointments, etc., etc. And then in the artist dates, you are receiving. So you're opening yourself up to the universe to receive insight and inspiration. And I love that because she talks about how essentially like a creative mind is just an open mind and it's like a sponge. So if you go out and you gather information, you gather materials, you're essentially like filling your well, and then you can take from that creative well whenever you need to make a creative product. So week 1 of the book is all about recovering a sense of safety, and she talks a lot about shadow artists and your inner artist and everything about what that means. So essentially your shadow artist is the version of you that was quieted and that got suppressed because either your parents were telling you that isn't important, like minded, like most of our parents did, or you just had a situation that kind of rubbed you the wrong way, and then therefore you pushed away any creative ability or artistic ability that you thought you had. And I can relate to this so much because I grew up in a family where creativity just was not an important thing, right? Like you were meant to work, you were here to do your responsibilities, and that was all that was important. I'm not blaming our parents. I know that most of them came here, mine did at least, they're immigrants. They came to this country to give us more financial opportunities, but that meant that they weren't really focused on anything creative, none of the fluffy stuff, nothing that was just fun. And that really created a situation where I didn't think it was appropriate to ever even remotely consider following my creative pursuits. So I lived in survival mode for a very, very long time, and being in survival mode is not conducive to being a creative person. The two just do not go together. She also gives a lot of examples of people who maybe had negative situations when they were a child, and then that one situation pushed them away from creative pursuits for the rest of their lives. I can also relate. When I was in the 4th grade, I had a music teacher. I will not say her name, but I do remember her name. And she made me feel like so incompetent and so terrible for not understanding music. I'm sorry. I don't know how to read notes till this day, but I remember that. I remember that vividly, and it is one of my worst childhood memories. And I took that into everything else that was related to creativity. So when I went to art class, I told myself that I wasn't going to be good at art because my music teacher told me I wasn't going to be good at music. Remember, a child's brain, this is the way that I was thinking when I was in the 4th grade. I know it doesn't quite make sense, but that's essentially what I did. And then top that with my parents always kind of encouraging me to do the less creative stuff. Put those two things together and you get somebody that is not really connected to their creativity. Until I became an adult and I realized I have all of these creative interests, but I feel like I'm not a creative person. A conundrum indeed. She actually says in the book that young writers may be pushed by their parents to go into lawyering because it is a talky and wordy profession. And I cackled because drag me. I became a lawyer, and everyone always told me when I was a kid that I could be a lawyer because I talked a lot and because I loved to write. Interesting. It's like she wrote this book specifically for me. She talks a lot about your inner artist, and for me, I relate that directly to my inner child. I'm very connected to my inner child, and I know that my inner child is the one that wants to be creative and has all of these really creative ideas. And she essentially says that you have to nourish your inner child, which makes sense. You have to nourish your inner artist. So you have to give your inner artist opportunities to see beautiful things, experience beautiful things. She talks about cooking, about painting, about dancing. All of these things are super super creative, and they fill your creative well. And so it's like pouring and filling up a well so that when you want to be creative, you can pull from that well and then make a creative project. I thought that was really, really cool, and I really resonated with that because, again, I love the idea of connecting with my inner child. So that has me feeling good about this. Now that I have spent my first week reading The Artist's Way, I definitely realized that this is something I needed and something I'm very excited to continue. This book, essentially, it's like coming back to yourself. It's realizing how you've suppressed your creative identity and turned yourself into somebody who truly believes that you can't be creative. And I love that she spends a lot of time talking about beliefs and how you create these beliefs that are not facts, by the way, but they essentially direct your entire life. They direct all of the decisions you make and how you feel about yourself, especially as it relates to being a creative person. She uses a different term in the book to talk about this, but I essentially see this as like having a devil and an angel on your shoulders. The devil is telling you you're not good enough, you're not creative enough, you can't do this, why even bother try? Look at them and compare it to you. And then you have the angel, which is very interested in creative efforts. They want to try new things, they want to explore. They're not afraid of being wrong or looking bad, and they just want to get out there. And you're kind of stuck in the middle, like, who do I listen to? Which one makes the most sense? How do I get myself out of this rut? And a lot of it really does revolve around what your beliefs are. So I know for me, like I said, I had that elementary school teacher that made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing with music, which she was probably right. I didn't know what I was doing with music, but she definitely didn't make me feel good about myself. And so I developed a belief from when I was a very small child, and that belief has stuck with me. And now it's directing the way that I live my life. So I can definitely resonate with that, especially as I think about like mindsets and how what you believe turns into your reality. That's definitely something I live by. It's the same exact thing. So she talks about bringing up affirmations and using affirmations as a way to kind of change these beliefs over time. And it's definitely something that I've used in the past, and I use them with my clients all the time. But one of the parts that I thought was so funny is how she says that using affirmations can kind of feel a little embarrassing or awkward or weird. But when it comes to admonishing ourselves or beating ourselves up, we do that with ease. We're like, oh, that part is easy. And it's so weird that giving yourself encouragement feels bad, but talking down to yourself feels normal. And this is something I bring up with my clients all the time. So some of the affirmations that she has in the book, I really liked. So I'm just going to write them down and use them as my own. I'm going to go through a few of them that really stuck out to me. And then these are the ones that I'm going to be relying on over the next 12 weeks. I'll probably create some more, and like some I'm sure will come out to me. But these are the ones that I was like, I can get jiggy with those, so I'm gonna just use those for now. The first one is, as I create and listen, I will be led. And I absolutely love that. Especially as I said earlier, I'm really into like the creativity and spirituality type of thing. And I feel like as I've been opening the door to my creativity, I have been led to new ideas, to new kind of cool things that I want to try out, things that I want to see, videos that I want to watch and make. And I feel like that's just a perfect example of this affirmation. As I create and as I listen, I will be led. Another one is, my creativity heals myself and others. I absolutely love this because one, I definitely need my creativity to heal me. But when it comes to healing others, I think that that is so special and so amazing. I can definitely think about the people that I watch on YouTube who really do inspire and heal me and heal my creativity. Another one is, through the use of a few simple tools, my creativity will flourish. I love this one because essentially it's like, it doesn't take that much. It actually doesn't take that much at all. It's just a few things that you do consistently over time, and your creativity will absolutely flourish. Your creative well will fill, and then you'll have an immense amount of opportunity to go out and create new things. And that makes me feel really good because, of course, in my mind, I've hyped it up to be this crazy, hard, how am I going to find my creative self? And really and truly, it's just using a few simple tools, doing that over time, and I'll be able to see results. And then my camera overheated. I'm really getting the full YouTuber experience trying to record this video. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I was talking about affirmations and I have two more. The last two are my absolute favorite. The first one is I am willing to create. As simple as that. I'm telling the universe, I am willing to create, I'm willing to do this, open myself up to all of the possibilities. And the last one is I am willing to learn to let myself create. As somebody who hasn't let herself create, being open to learning definitely makes a difference. So those are the affirmations that really stuck out to me that I'm going to be using and hopefully relying on to help me change my beliefs around my creativity. And as I go down this journey, I'm very excited to see what happens. The last thing is one of the tasks at the end of the chapter had us write down 5 different versions of ourselves or 5 different lives that we could have lived. And that just reminded me of this book called The Midnight Library. It's essentially a book where a woman has a life of regret and then she gets to kind of go through all of these different life paths. And it made me realize that that's the truth for us. If you're in something that you don't like, you can always change your mind and try something different. And as somebody who left their first career as a lawyer to become an entrepreneur and now to be a YouTuber, I definitely relate to that. So if I can leave you with one message, it's to remember that you're never stuck in one identity. You can always switch, you can always change and just live a new life if you can just let yourself even imagine it. So that's my first week. My camera's overheating again. So I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. I will keep you all posted. I'm definitely gonna keep reading. I have to get to chapter 5 at least. Definitely to chapter 10. But we'll see about chapter 12. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.